Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope you guys are having a glorious Sunday. Let me know what you guys have cooked up today. But before we dive into all of that, if you don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can learn a little bit more about me by checking out the information box down below, maybe checking out my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, maybe checking out Desert Cauldron over on Etsy, maybe checking out Patreon or YouTube members and all of that good stuff. So, anyway, let me know how you guys are doing. Whoa, I hear an echo. Hello, echo. um, okay, so, oh, hey. So Miranda is here. Hello, hello. And our friend Kayla, who is one of our mighty moderators, she said, Happy Sunday. Hello. So, okay, you guys, for today. As you can see in the title, this is party like it's 1981 plus story time. And that is because my solar return is on Tuesday. It'll be my 44th trip around the sun. Eh. And my little brother just had his birthday on the 4th. My Nana, if she were still alive, her birthday would have been yesterday. She would have actually been 104. But I posted a bunch of her pictures over on Instagram. I set up like a little novena for her and everything. So, yeah, to my Nana. And then let's see, today, or actually on the 10th, Tuesday, is also my grandfather, Lolo, my Filipino grandfather. His birthday is also on the 10th. And if he were alive, he'd be 125 this year because he was born in 1900. Let's see. Our great grandfather on my mother's side, his birthday was also on the 4th, on my brother's birthday. My other grandmother, her birthday is towards the end of the month, end of June. And I believe PJ's dad, his father's birthday is also towards the end of the month, too. So, A for all the June babies. All righty. So, okay, what we have cooked up for today, I put a few choices out on the poll on Thursday of what you guys wanted to see in today's live chat. And of course, I may have geared them more towards like fun festivity, like partying, birthday type stuff. But you guys had a tie actually, and it was to kind of do everything 1981. And then the other was to kind of bust out some old pictures of little Tara, and just have some fun story time. So we'll do that. We'll do our weekly reading first. So see what we have cooked up for this upcoming week. What do I have cooked up for my birthday? And then we'll just dive into some 1981 goodness, and then we'll do some super chats, super stickers, and then we'll do our channeled guided meditation. So hey, okay. Alrighty. Let's go into our weekly reading. So if you guys have your decks, if you have your runes or your pendulums, or you're just pulling down some good old fashioned intuition or you're channeling, definitely add to the chat because I feel that it creates such a more well-rounded reading. If you're wondering who this little person is in the background, that is Maisie, little Maisie Doodles. So she's just okay. She just ran over to say hello, skis. Kayla was wondering what her name is, so that's Maisie. Maisie. Time Harvest says Maisie is enjoying the sun. Yes. Everybody's like, oh, cute. All righty. So, you guys, I have a few decks here for our weekly reading, our very special weekly reading. We have my Wally's World Oracle because Wally's World. We have the Cosmic Tarot, which has kind of an 80s bent to it. You guys will see in a moment. Like it's got like 40s/80s, which is interesting because in the 80s, they were pulling bits and pieces from the 40s. And then, it's weird how like fashion and trends and all that come around. Like back when I was in high school in the 90s, they were bringing back like bits and pieces of like the 60s and 70s. And I remember like my dad had bought me an outfit from the store, and my mom's like, well, you could have just raided my closet. And she was like, because I used to wear something like that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's so 1993. She's like, no. Anyway, okay, other decks I have from my friend Susie. You guys knew her. She was in here as one of my awesome moderators, but she's taken some time out for herself, working through her path and everything. So she has something called Through the Eyes of the Soul that she sent me for my birthday. So yay, thank you, Susie. So I thought this would be really fun to read with today. All right. So before I start slanging some cards, I want to give a shout out to all of my mighty moderators. Love you guys so much. Also to all of my subscribers, all of the people that watch the videos, give it thumbs ups and all of that. Oh, hey, speaking of videos, there is a video coming out tomorrow that originally aired like over a month ago over on Patreon and for my YouTube members, which if you are a patron or a YouTube member, you get some exclusive channeling videos. They get to vote on the video that they want to see for a channeling, and they voted on Stonehenge. So, okay. So that Stonehenge video will come out for the rest of the public tomorrow on Monday. And then there will be another voting poll for Patreon. And I believe they already cast their votes. And that is for Sasquatch. So we're going to be doing a channeling of that. So if you want to see that exclusive channeling, definitely go check out Patreon and YouTube members. Okay, so speaking of those Patreon and YouTube members, you know who they are because they have a little colored kitty head right next to their name. Kayla and Nancy and Astrid and Jolene and Duality Tales. And check it out. You got Rex. Okay, and then my patrons, Lily, Dana, Jamie, Kayla, Signa Baby, Brandy, Jason, Brian, Paulu, Crystal, Easy Does It, Oz, Joel, 1111, Casey Gritter, and Calm Chaos. All right, thank you guys so much for your support. All right, let's see. Time Harvest says, you look astonishing today. Well, thank you. I'll give you the rundown of what's happening here. Kayla said, "Cute pupper," and then oh yeah, they were talking about Maisie. Time Harvest says, "Let's do it." Duality Tales saying hello. Kayla saying hello to Rex. Oh, he's just in and out. He's getting his exercise right now. Okay. Let's do it, you guys. Let's pull from Wally's world. Wally, what do you have for us this upcoming week? Which I feel should be a national fall holiday, but that's just me, Okay. Let's see. Okay, we have our card. I'm going to put this back in the box. Hola. Nice, huh? Oh, hey, that is a nice card. Sweet. All right. So this card in Wally's world was actually a picture that I took, and it was right outside my bedroom window, like facing my balcony, facing east. Actually, it looks like a sunset, but it's actually the sunrise. And that was something that was interesting in my Spring Valley house, is that our sunrises look like our sunsets, and our sunsets look like our sunrises in Spring Valley. So everybody thought that this was the sunset card, but the sky would turn this really beautiful golden color like just before it fully came up, especially in the summertime. So it's interesting because now we are in summer, and this is probably around the time I took this picture. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, so let's dive in and see what this says. Oh, and if you're looking for Wally in this card, he's been photoshopped right here in one of my beautiful red roses that used to grow in my front yard. I used to have yellow roses, I had red roses, and my orange and yellow roses, pink roses. Okay, so let's dive in. Okay, so maybe kind of pertaining to my solar return, but just letting people know, like with this, people were talking about the portal energy on the 6th of June. And yeah, there was a lot of interesting stuff that had happened. Actually, I have a really weird, maybe dream, waking state dream sort of to share with you guys. But there's been all this ramped up energy, and it feels like, the things that we've, maybe have on your mind, all of a sudden you hear it like spoken aloud on the television, or you hear it as part of lyrics in a song, or you're ready to go do something, but then you find out somebody has already done it for you. It's like, this almost like instant manifestation happening. And so they're saying that's not going to slow down anytime soon. If I remember correctly from last week's reading, it would be that there's like all this fast paced energy, and then it kind of stops and it slows down for just a moment. And then, we were asked to kind of reflect on, how that makes us feel and what we were going to do with that energy. Well, it feels like it's picking up the pace again. But maybe it isn't the whole world becoming fast paced, but more it's a fast paced type energy, meaning if you, whatever it is that you are focusing most of your attention on, that's what comes to fruition. So if you're thinking, oh well, I can't do this, or I can't do this, then there's going to be a whole lot of I can't do that, this week. Or if you're thinking of, I don't know, roses, there's roses in the card, and you got roses on your mind, all of a sudden you start seeing like your world is being populated with like roses everywhere, roses on desks and things like that. So pay special attention to what is going on in your mind, what you are placing the majority of your focus on, but also what your subconscious mind is placing its focus on. And if you're wondering what the subconscious mind is doing, well, that you're going to have to, go inwards, meditate, whatever you have to do to get in touch with that part of yourself that maybe you're not too consciously aware of, placing that focus. So again, whatever you're focusing on, that's what's really coming through for us, this week. So that's that sunrise. What do you want to begin? What do you want to start? What do you want to come into your life? Place your focus on that. Sometimes we just in general place our focuses on our worries and the things that we don't want. Well, we get more of what we don't want the more we focus on what we don't want. But so focus on what you do want. Focus on the things that you really want to bring into your life, or how you want to feel, and things like that. And just maybe taking a little inward journey into why you want those particular things in your life. So all right, well, thank you, Wally. Okay, I want to grab the Cosmic Tarot. Okay, let's see. Time Harvest says, oh, big dog. And he says he seems a bit old. He is. He's a very old man. He's even got his old man bark. He's like, ruff, ruff. um, this is bro gives vibes. And then Shannon said, is it 80s weekend of flashbacks? It is. So it's the 1981 flashback. So yeah, we'll get into our little 80s party in a bit. Hey, our buddy John is here. What's up, John? Okay, so with the Cosmic Tarot, which I feel has got a bit of 80s, bit of 40s, but in the 80s there was a bit of 40s. So okay, oops, make sure that I get all the cards out. We want a full and complete reading. There we go. Good on ya. Okay. let's do a little shuffle. What else do we need to know for this upcoming week other than, what we place our focus on is what we get. And of course, that's not news. Like, that's not like some new information. We all know that, right? But the reason that I feel it's being emphasized is because if the energy is so intense and it's just like flowing through us at a amplified rate, then what we focus on is amplified as well. And I believe that that is why that card came through for us. Pooh said, you look cool. Well, thank you. Thank you. Um, Time Harvest says, thumbs up in the stream. Hey, thanks, dude. um, awesome. You guys hear Rex back there with his old man bark? I like his old man bark. I love his bark. Yeah, dude. Okay, let's see what we have here. Ooh, 9 of Cups. Well, that's definitely what I want to see during my birthday week. Ace of Pentacles, also a fabulous card. 9 of Wands. That could go in an awesome way. All right, let's put all of these together. So I like that we have a couple of 9s there. And actually in Mayan numerology, the number 9 represents all the different ways in which the number 9 is represented. There's 9 months to develop a child. There's the 9 cycles of human development. There's, number 9 just being extremely abundant, things coming to fruition. So putting that into what these 3 cards would mean, let's do a little tap in. Aha. Okay. So we were talking about, what you put your mind on is, what is amplified, what is coming in. But it's not just your mind, it's what your heart has in it for you. So let's say in your head you're like, well, okay, I want to like win the lottery this week. Your mind is like, I want to win but your heart is saying, actually all I'm craving is the freedom to express myself, to follow my passions, follow my hobbies. And the mind thinks that the only way to do that is to win the lottery, that somehow you got to like have all this money to actually go do what you want to do, to pursue your hobbies and your interests. So those two have to get in alignment to really tap into this amplified energy. So if the brain is saying, well, I want this is what I want amplified, but the heart is over here, well, then we're going to have that kind of chariot feel where, you got these horses and, or the sphinxes going in separate directions, and pulling the chariot to a standstill. So that's going to take a bit of going inwards. Okay, what does my heart actually want? If my mind is saying this, why is my mind saying that? In what way is it trying to put into 3D what my heart is asking for? So really go inwards and see what is it that your heart is trying to amplify this week. And you got all those 9s in there. So it's definitely going to be brought to fruition. We just got to get everything into alignment. All righty. Okay, I can dig it. Okay, let's see. Time Harvest says Rex was like, oof. 369. Yes, love it. Okay. Actually, when you said 369, it reminded me 362. That was the my house address when I was growing up, the house that I grew up in. So very interesting. All right, you guys. So I have some information here about some things that went on in the news and like whatevs in 1981, which is why I want to explain my ensemble. So this shirt actually is, well, I hate to say it's an old shirt because then I'm saying that I'm old and I'm not. So my mom wore this shirt on my first birthday. So technically that was in 1982, but she had it before then. So the shirt is from 1981, like quite literally. So yeah, this was my mama's shirt and it's held up pretty well. It's one of my favorite shirts. It was one of her favorite shirts. So it's been washed and washed and washed. So I guess the fabric is kind of thin now, but I love it. And actually, okay, so the bracelet that I'm wearing was also my mother's. And when I was really young, like I'm talking before I was in elementary school, so I was like 3, 4 years old, my parents would drop me off at my Nana's house. My Nana, I mentioned earlier, whose birthday was yesterday. Love you, Nana. Te amo. um, but my mom would wear this bracelet anytime she went out dancing with my father. So her and my dad, they love to cut a little rug. They like to go dancing. Like my dad loves to dance. And it's not like the clubs that we think of nowadays when you go to the club and the DJ's like spinning music and everybody's like, oh, whatever, getting drunk or whatever. But when my parents would go, they literally went to the discotheque. Like they were there to like freaking dance. Like so anyway, this was my mom's favorite bracelet that she wore when she would go dancing. Okay, let's see what else. I'm trying to think that's a little more nostalgic on me. Yeah, okay. So my necklace. This necklace is not old in itself. It's probably less than 10 years old, but it looks like an exact replica of a necklace I did have when I was really little. So when I was like 4 or 5 years old, I had a necklace like this. But since I was a rough and tumble kid and I was like climbing trees and falling off skateboards and skinning my knees like left and right, I was pretty sure I was just going to have the most scarred knees on the planet because I was such a tomboy. So anyway, jewelry didn't do well on me and it broke like within a day or two. And so I had a necklace like this. I loved it. I broke it and it stayed in a jewelry box forever. But then when I went off to college, I don't know, I lost it. So one day I'm like, I see, I think it was on Urban Outfitters. And I don't really shop Urban Outfitters because it's kind of expensive. But they were having some sale and this like thing was on the front page and was like, oh my gosh, that's my necklace. So yeah, so this was pretty much like a necklace I used to have. And yeah. Let's see. Other things. My I think it was my uncle. My uncle used to have some white wayfarers just like this. And I remember like my Uncle Danny, my Uncle Tom, that was like their thing. They love their wayfarer sunglasses and Lokes. One of them had Lokes. The other one loved Wayfarers. I think it was like my Uncle Danny. But anyway, so that's in homage to my uncles. Love you guys, Matios. So yeah, I figured, hey, we were gonna 1981 it up this morning. Okay, you guys, are you ready for some historical facts on 1981? Hey, fun fact. MTV came out in 1981. For you youngsters out there who don't know what MTV is, that is music television. That is taking the music off the radio. And now you got to see music videos of like your favorite singers and bands. And it was like mesmerizing because like you knew like the song, but now you can see it in music video format and you're just like, whoa. And then later came VH1 and all that. But MTV, that's where it started. I believe it was like the symbol of it was the astronaut holding the flag on the moon, but the flag said MTV on it. And then the first song I believe that played on MTV is Video Killed the Radio Star. Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Do 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 do. Video killed the radio star. um, okay, so I have in this wonderful little packet. I'm not going to read everything that's on here, but just some things that happened in the year of my birth, not necessarily in June, but just like throughout 1981. So for all my history buffs out there, this should be a lot of fun for you guys. um, let's see. Let me look here. Time Harvest says the shirt still looks brand new. What about the thing in your hair? So, okay, I used to have so many scrunchies. They were called scrunchies. Some were fuzzy scrunchies, some were just like colored scrunchies. And basically, it was a hair band that had fabric attached to it to give it extra volume so that when you put your hair up on top of your head, like pebbles, like me, those of you who knew the Flintstones, Pebbles, she had her hair on her head. Um, it would help to give your hair extra height. And so people love to get these like different colored scrunchies to like match their outfits. And so my mom used to put my hair in like these like really cool like scrunchies and like hair ties with like little like figurines attached to them, anything to make my hair stand up high. And I had curly hair when I was a baby. So she would put my hair on top of my head. She would also give me like these really high pigtails. I could have done pigtails today, I guess. But so yeah, this is not from the 80s, but it looks very much like one that I wore when I was a little kid. Let's see. Amanda says, "You look beautiful." Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Time Harvest says, your outfit keeps purple vibes. Very unique. Purple and yellow. Nice. Hey, V Love and Tarot. Girl, I was just talking about you like earlier this week, and then here you go, and you pop up. And I was perusing your Etsy shop, by the way. I'm just saying. But she says, "Happy 1981. Love the vibes. Thank you, girl. I miss you. How are you?" She says, "Happily cumpleaños. Thank you." um, and Time Harvest as well. I just realized now it's your birthday. So yeah, on Tuesday, June 10th, that will be my official birthday. Well, technically, officially at 5:01 p.m. on June 10th. I better like speak a little spell at that point. I got to speak into existence what I want at 5:01 p.m. on Tuesday, right? For the next 365 days. John says, "I liked when my sisters put dinosaur beads in their hair." Oh my gosh, dude, I remember dinosaur beads. I love dinosaurs. I had I had dinosaurs. I had Hello Kitty. I had hearts. I used to have these little plastic headbands that had like little rainbow hearts all over them. Everything was rainbow. I had a rainbow decal, like they were vinyl decals, and you could put them up on your walls instead of like putting wallpaper or actually painting your walls. There were these vinyl decals. And so on my closet, I had a massive rainbow on one side, and on my other closet door, I had a massive sun. And then the room I grew up in was yellow, but before I moved to Chula Vista, I was in La Mesa. And in La Mesa, I think my bedroom was just plain white because it was an apartment. So my mom tried to like spruce it up. So she had, I don't know if you guys remember, there were these pictures, and I think they were made out of foil. And so it had foiled texture to them. So it wasn't really color, it was more like a bronzy, silvery color. And so depending on the angle that you moved it, it looked like the picture moved. And so I had these lions in front of a sunrise. And it was one of my favorite pictures. And it was at the foot of my bed. My bed at the time, what did I have? I had Cabbage Patch sheets and a Scooby-Doo comforter, which I could also turn into a sleeping bag. Oh, wait, no, it wasn't Scooby-Doo. It was Pound Puppies. Yeah, I had a Pound Puppies comforter sleeping bag thing. I had my Cabbage Patch sheets, but I also had Smurfs and things like that. But Cabbage Patch was my favorite. I slept with one of my Cabbage Patch dolls. I slept with a couple of my glow worms. If you guys remember glow worms, it was like a worm with a plastic face, but when you squeeze the worm, its face lit up. So they were called glowworms. So I had a couple of glowworms. I had my Pound Puppy that I slept with, yeah, and my Cabbage Patch. And those were all the things that I would keep in my little kid bed. I had a mobile over my bed, even when I was a little bit older, my parents just kind of kept it there, but it was like a rainbow with like a sun and a moon and clouds like rotating underneath this like rainbow. So I had rainbows everywhere. My little mini, like little girl purses or like rainbows. I had rainbow Hello Kitty flip flops. I had Superman flip flops too, which I loved Superman. But it was just, dude, so cool. I'm like, wow, I should have appreciated more how cool my stuff was when I was really little. um, Let me see. Time Harvest says, will you do a stream the 10th to celebrate your birthday, or is it today? So on the 10th is my birthday, but today we'll do the celebration because I don't know where I'm going to be on the 10th. It is a surprise. My boyfriend is taking me somewhere. I don't know where. Timbuktu, maybe. So I don't know where I will be, but we'll see. Um, John says, I like the pink and my dad hated it. Oh, you liked hot pink. Dude, I love the neon colors. There was like lime green, those bright oranges, the highlighter colors, like hot pink. I had hot pink everything. And at Carl's Jr., if you got the Happy Star meal, there was a time where, oh, hello, bug, that they had I forgot what the theme was, but I remember getting a watch in my Happy Star meal, and it was a waterproof watch. And like the band part of the watch had liquid in it, and it had like glitter and sand and stars. It was meant to look like beachy. And then of course, it had a digital face for the watch. Gosh, I remember that stuff, but I remember it was hot pink, and I thought it was the coolest thing. And like almost every girl I knew, we would wear like different color, like neon hair things in our hair. So we'd put an orange band with like a hot yellow band with a hot pink band with like neon blue to make our hair like taller and taller. It was a little hard because I didn't really have long hair like I do now. My mom and dad loved to keep my hair short, so they gave me what was called a Dorothy Hamill. So Dorothy Hamill was an Olympic gymnast back in the 80s, the 80 Olympics or 84 Olympics. And I don't know, my mom loved that hair. So they would feather my hair and they kept my hair super short. And it also, I guess, kind of looked like Princess Di's hair. So that was all the rage, was ladies started cutting their hair to look like Princess Di. Let's see. John says, yeah, lenticular pictures were, they were, oh, they were rad. And glowworms reminded me of that. It says hot in the 80s, neon in the 90s, day glow in the early 2000s. Yes, yes, definitely. So many colors. That's why I love the era that I grew up in. Just so many beautiful colors. And I try to keep my colorfulness now that I'm in my 40s. Okay, here we go, guys. Let's read some historicalness from from the 1981 era. Okay. Wow. That starts off kind of grim. Okay, well, I guess we'll start off with a grim one. January 2nd, 1981, police arrest Peter Sutcliffe, known as the Yorkshire Ripper. Good. Bad guy behind bars. Yay. He was charged on suspicion of murdering 13 women by January 5th. Let's see. January 9th, Francisco Balsameo is elected to become the president of Portugal. Okay. Ooh, okay. January 11th of 1981, a British team led by Ranulph Fiennes becomes the fastest to cross Antarctica, reaching the Scott base after 75 days and 2,500 miles. Wow, that's a long time to go through. I mean, that's a quick amount of time to go through Antarctica, because I imagine Antarctica is is treacherous. Okay. January 12th. I know I'm trying not to read all of them, but I find them fascinating. Okay, January 12th of 1981. It was negative 35 degrees Celsius, recorded in the state record in Chester, Massachusetts, which when I was little, I would have a trouble pronouncing Massachusetts. I want to say Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Okay, let's see. Oh no, boo. January 14th, the U.S. Federal Communications Commission allows stations to air as many advertisements an hour as they wish. Boo, boo for ads. um, January 16th, John Lennon releases Woman. Nice. Uh, okay. All right. January 20th of 1981, Ronald Reagan is inaugurated as the 40th president of the United States of America. All right. Let's go into February. What's happening in February? February 6th, 1981, the Beatles members Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison record a tribute to John Lennon, who was assassinated in December of 1980. So it's interesting that by 81, they were still releasing some of his stuff. Interesting. Random factoid. February 13th, the New York Times publishes its longest sentence at 1,286 words. That would have driven me crazy as an English teacher. Holy schmolies. Oh, February 23rd, 81, Prince Charles announces his engagement to Lady Diana Spencer. Princess Di. Oh, wow. February 24th, an earthquake measuring 6.7 on the Richter scale hits Athens, destroying buildings and killing 16 people. But now we got some bigger shakers happening these days. Let's see. Oh, February 27th, Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder record Ebony and Ivory. Hey. Let's go into March. March 2nd marks the discovery of a minor planet, 5020 Asimov, which is named after the sci-fi writer Isaac Asimov. Wow, cool. All right, a little minor planet has been discovered. I'm trying to find some good stuff. Okay, well, maybe for our baseball fans out there. March 21st, during the Five Nations, France beats England 16-12 at Twickenham to win its 7th championship and 3rd Grand Slam title. Well, I didn't really mean baseball, but sports fans. March 22nd, in the US, the first class postage raised from 15 cents to 18 cents. And I remember when my parents, well, actually mostly my mom, because she did the majority of sending out the letters, like for like the bills and stuff like that. I remember when the postage went to 21 cents and my mom was like, 21-cent stamp? What are they going to make us all go broke? Like, what? She's like, 21 cents. And then when it went to 24 cents, she was like, okay, I'm dead. Like, I can't. 24 cents to send a letter. That was just freaking insane. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? March 27th, Blizzard of Oz, the debut solo album by Ozzy Osbourne, is released. Nice. March 29th, Tina Latola ski jumps the female record of 110 meters. Wow, that's really long. I mean, I've run the 100 meters before, so that's really long. That's like one whole length of a football field. March 29th, the first London Marathon takes place. Nice. Okay, let's go to April. Oh, April 1st, the USSR introduces daylight savings hours. We should just kind of do away with daylight savings. I mean, Arizona has, and a few other states have. And I know there are a few countries around the world that don't recognize the change in time. I mean, do we really need a change in time? Okay, let's see what else is happening here in April. Oh, April 10th, a computer glitch leads to the space shuttle Columbia being grounded. Ooh. Let's see. But then on April 12th, the space shuttle Columbia is launched on its maiden voyage. And then on the 15th, that same space shuttle Columbia returns to Earth. Yay! Uh, do, do, do. Let's see. April 22nd, over 10,000 copper workers in Chile start a strike. And then on the 22nd as well, nearly 1 million metal workers in West Germany also go on strike. Also that same day, heck, a lot happened on April 22nd. More than $3.3 million is stolen from the First National Bank of Arizona in Tucson in what was the largest American bank robbery in history. Um, okay. I believe it is it the First National Bank? Okay, so when I went to Italy, I believe I saw it, I think it was the First National Bank. But it was interesting that there was like, I think it was like Bank of America and First National Bank or something. They were actually, even though like Bank of America has America in the name, they were actually banks started in Italy. So they were actually Italian banks. And I just found that just freaking fascinating. All right, let's see. Do, 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 do. May 1st, 1981, Billie Jean King announces her relationship with Marilyn Barnett, making her the first prominent sportswoman to come out as gay. Um, let's see. Oh, May 11th, Cats, a musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, premieres in the West End. And my cousin's half sister, she had Cats on cassette, and her and I would listen to it, and we would like sing the cat songs. And this was way back in the day. Do, do, do. May 15th, George Harrison of the Beatles releases All Those Years Ago. May 21st, Bob Marley receives a Jamaican state funeral. Going on, what else is happening in May? Okay, let's go into June. Okay, so in June, this is weird. June 2nd, Barbara Walters asks Katharine Hepburn, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? I don't have a very good Barbara Walters voice, but anyway, if you were a tree, what kind of tree would you be? Interesting. I mean, that's the kind of questions I would ask, though. June 4th, my brother's birthday and my great grandpa's birthday, Paige Pipkin wins the 54th National Spelling Bee by spelling sarcophagus. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Spell sarcophagus. Do, 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 do. Okay, what else do we have going on here? Well, they don't have anything for June 10th, but they have something for June 11th. But it's kind of morbid. Okay, June 11th, Issei Sagawa, a cannibal, kills a Dutch student in Paris. Okay, well, that's morbid. All right. Oh, hey, June 12th, the first of the Indiana Jones film franchise, Raiders of the Lost Ark, premieres. Yay! Freaking, okay. I had a few movies that were my absolute favorite. It was Ghostbusters. That was like my favorite. I watched Ghostbusters so much, the first Ghostbusters, that I literally wore out my VHS tape. I broke the tape. I broke it. But after that, all Indiana Jones, like the first Indiana Jones, the second Indiana Jones, the third Indiana Jones. Like I loved that. I loved Back to the Future. I loved Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I didn't really get into the Breakfast Club till I was older, because I think I was too young to kind of understand what was going on with these angsty teens. Um, but yeah, I think those were pretty much my faves. It was Ferris Bueller, yeah, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, and Ghostbusters. But I think Ghostbusters was like my ultimate like favorite. So super cool. Plus, I wanted to be Indiana Jones. I wanted to be Indy when I grew up. I was like, ooh, because I like dinosaurs, but I also liked historical stuff. I loved ancient Egypt and everything. And I was like, I'm going to be an archaeologist. I'm going to be like an archaeologist that goes on adventures. And I'm going to carry a whip on my hip. And so I would have a jump rope that I kept on my belt. And I had this like hat. It was like my grandfather's hat or something like that. And I would go around the backyard and I would do up a map. I would bury the map. And then my brother and I would try to go look for the map. And then we would dig up the map that I already knew where I buried. And then I would bury crap all over the backyard to find treasures, and to go on my Indiana Jones adventures. I try like, trying to like get my jump rope over the like branch of a tree. And I'm like, trying to swing around. It was, yeah. Anyway. Let's see. What else do we have going on? June 24th, For Your Eyes Only, the 12th James Bond film is released. Nice. What else do we have going on? Okay, July. We're into July. Walt Disney's Fox and the Hound is released. All right, let's go through here. July 29th, in one of the most significant events in 1981, Prince Charles marries Lady Diana Spencer. On this day, she became the Princess of Wales. All right, August 1st, Endless Love, which is my Uncle Joe's favorite album, is released by Diana Ross and Lionel Richie. It would become the Billboard Song of the Year in 1981, as well as Billboard Greatest Song Duet of All Time. August 1st, MTV premieres at 12:01 a.m. Video Killed the Radio Star. Let's see. August 7th, in the US, the Washington Star ceases all publication after 128 years. Ooh. August 26th, Voyager 2 takes images of Saturn's moon, Titan. Wow. Hey. Cool things happening. Let's see. What else do we have? Oh, September 12th, the Smurfs first broadcast in North America. I love the Smurfs, but I always wondered, in the whole village of the Smurfs, I only saw one female Smurfette. How did all those Smurf babies get made? Anyway, let's see. September 25th, the Rolling Stones begin their 6th U.S. tour starting at JFK Stadium in Philadelphia. October 11th, an unknown singer, Prince, opens for the Rolling Stones at the LA Coliseum. Prince, also known as the symbol, also known as the artist formerly known as Prince. Anyway, let's see. What else do we have? October 19th, Nicholas Bohmbergen and Arthur Schawlow win the Nobel Prize for Physics for inventing the laser. We have a laser. Okay, what else do we have? October 22nd, the amount of debt the U.S. tops over $1 trillion. Oh, wow, we've topped that now. Good job, U.S. Okay. October 24th, to celebrate his 100th birthday, Pablo Picasso's 1937 painting Guernica goes on display in Madrid, Spain. All right, we're going into November. Let's see what's happening in November. Okay, November 16th, President Reagan decides to create a plan to block Cuban aid to Nicaragua and El Salvador. November 20th, Ringo Starr releases his album Stop and Smell Roses. Hey, November 21st, Olivia Newton-John's single Physical goes to #1 and remains there for 10 weeks. I want to get physical. physical. I wanna get physical, physical. Actually, I had a Barbie that kind of looked like how she was dressed. But anyway, all right. Last month, 1981, December. Here's what we have. December 2nd, the Spanish government requests to become a member of NATO. Um, December 11th, Muhammad Ali fights his 61st and last fight, losing to Trevor Berbick. December 11th, Space Lab 1 arrives at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. December 28th, Elizabeth Jordan Carr, the first American test tube baby, is born in Norfolk, Virginia. December 30th, That Girl is released by Stevie Wonder. And yes, okay. And then here's something that I thought might be a little bit of fun for those of you who like looking at slang and all of that. John says, and the wizard Gargamel made Smurfette. So it's even bigger mystery how they're all so many. I know, right? Oh yeah, I forgot about Gargamel. Yeah, so he created Smurfette, and so then there are all these Smurfs that just keep popping up. I don't know. All right. Slang, and a lot of this I still use, but you know what? I think a lot of people still use this slang, but all of this came out in 1981. Gnarly. Gnarly. And actually, even when I was out surfing, people still use the word gnarly. And this is like in the 2000s. And, you know, I still use it once in a while now. I still say things are gnarly. That's a gnarly wave, you know? Tubular, also part of surf culture, came out. Totally tubular. Like, oh, I was like sucked in the tube. It was tubular, dude. Well, actually, dude. Yeah, dude as well. Anyway, chill, yeah, everybody just needs to chill. Okay. Let's all just chill. So, chillax. I think that came later on. If we said that something was bad, bad meant good. It's like, oh, that's so bad, but bad is good. Just like when I think it's the early 90s, ill, when I think Beastie Boys would say something was ill, but ill was also good. So bad and ill, good. All right. Let's see. No duh. My mom would say that. No duh. I think I still say that every once in a while. This I never said, but my mom would say once in a while, and that was gag me with a spoon. Like, ugh, gag me with a spoon. Which is when you're like disgusted or annoyed with something. Oh, I remember I did say, I never said it a lot, but I knew a lot of my friends would say bodacious if something was bodacious, which was a blend of bold and audacious or audacious. So it was bodacious, meant cool, fun, or hip. It's totally bodacious. Bodacious, dude. I still say rad, radical. Maybe I just say rad most of the time. But that just also means cool or awesome. Cowabunga, I think that was more popularized by the Ninja Turtles, which was late 80s. I think that's like 88, 89, going into the early 90s. My brother was all about the Ninja Turtles. That was kind of after me. Like I had started growing out of some things because I'm like 6 years older than my brother, but he loved Michelangelo. So anytime he ate pizza, he'd be like, cowabunga, dude. And then he would eat his like slice of, cheese pizza. And then of course, lastly, dude. I mean, how many times? Wow, it's probably over a zillion times I've said dude on this channel. So anyway, okay. Lots of good music came out in 81. A lot of really good movies came out in 81. All you guys got to do is a little Google search. You'll find some cool stuff about that. I'll definitely post pictures and whatever happens on my birthday. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. But I know I'll be out and about, so I won't be able to like do a live chat that day, which is why we're kind of doing that chat today anyway, because it's Sunday. But yeah, I'll post some pictures on my Instagram, so definitely check it out at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. I will put that out there. So, oh my gosh, Stripes was also really funny with Bill Murray. Yes, love that movie too. Okay. Oh, hey, Time Harvest. Thank you. Oh, 2222. I love it. says, happy birthday. Keep up being so kind and sweet. You're the best. Many more weekly readings to come. Sending you positive energy. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much, my friend. You know what? Let me pull a card for you. Thank you, thank you. But let me pull a card for you. Oh, dude. I have some photos to show you guys. I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready for this jelly. Okay. So let me use my friend's deck that she gifted me for my birthday. Again, this is through the eyes of the soul. But let me pull you a card, Time Harvest. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you, everyone. You know, you guys are all freaking amazeballs. Hey, Shadowlands is here. Hey-o. Okay, we have our card. Okay, Time Harvest. It says, a new door is opening. Step over the threshold. And it just brings to mind, I don't remember what movie I heard it from, but it was something about the threshold. It says, I'm going to carry my beloved over the threshold. And we're gonna thrash. It totally shreds. Anyway, so yes, a new door is opening. I feel like it really does connect to the weekly reading that we had. Remember, I was talking about with all this portal energy, whatever we're focusing our attention on, but that means whatever our mind, our ego, and our heart are coming into alignment, what they're focusing on, you know, miracles. And I feel that because literally the Wally's World card was the sunrise, all kinds of new beginnings. And here we have it, new doors opening for you as well. So, you know, don't just sit back and be like, well, yay, doors are opening for me, but definitely go inwards and figure out, like, what do you really want? Like, not just what's up here, but is it in alignment with what's in here? Because sometimes what's up here is trying to translate what the heart wants. So like I gave the example before, you know, if what my heart truly wants is time to focus on the things that light me up, my hobbies, my interests, my mind thinks that the only way to do that, my ego thinks the only way to do that is to like win the lottery, win $1 million or something. So if we can find a way to bring those two into alignment, then, you know, some fabulous things are going to be happening for you. So I am going to ask you next week, what happened? What happened, you know, this upcoming week? So I'll ask you next Sunday, Time Harvest. But thank you. Mwah! Thank you so much. Okay. Are you guys ready for some photos? I got some photos for you. Although I think my kindergarten photo is still out in the thingamajiggy, but oh, my Nana. Yes, I want to show you a picture of my Nana. Here you go. This is a picture of my Nana. That is my dad's mother when she was like 16 years old. She loved getting professional pictures of herself taken. And the thing was, you would go get a picture taken and then you would sign it to the person that you were giving the picture to. And in this case, she took this picture for her mother and she gave it to her mom, which is my great grandmother, Aggie. So let's see. Let's see if I have another nice picture of my Nana. Ooh. Here's another one when she worked at a little cafe. Yay! That's my Nana. And Time Harvest says, what? She's so beautiful. And John says, you look a lot like her. Well, thank you. I thought she was a very, very, very beautiful woman. Let's see. Here's some of my relatives. I'll just show one more because I'm sure my Nana is up in heaven right now being like, what are you doing? Anyway, so that's her. That's one of my auntie and two of my uncles. So this is in the 50s somewhere, I guess, maybe 50s, early 60s, very early 60s. But yeah, my Nana was born June 7th, 1921. Her first husband, my lolo, my grandfather, from the Philippines, he was born June 10th, 1900. So I don't think I have any pictures of my grandpa in here, my lolo. But okay, here you go, you guys, without dumping all the photos that I have here. Let me just move these out of the way so I don't dump them. Let's have some fun here. Okay. So these are my school pictures. So the top pictures up there, those are like from elementary school. And you can totally tell I have the Dorothy Hamill haircut. My hair is so freaking short. I look like a dork. I'm always a dork. And then these are my high school pictures, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. So yeah. Okay. I did bring a box of photos out here though. Let me grab those. And then also, I don't know if you guys have a baby book, but my mom, like, I don't know, I guess like people used to have like a baby book where it was like a photo album, but it's for like your baby's whole first year. So every picture that, my mom was kind of a photographer on the side. That was her hobby. I love doing photography now too. But so she took all kinds of pictures, and she did film. This is obviously before digital, so my mom took film pictures, and she knew how to develop them, and she could like do really cool stuff with developing photos. So almost, I would say 90% of the photos that are in this album, like 99% of them, are taken by my mom, and I think that she was really talented. Um, Time Harvest says 16 years old looks more like late 20s. People really were different. Yeah, that I noticed. Like looking at my father's yearbook, he was supposed to graduate in 58, but he graduated in 59 because he got held back a year because my dad spoke English, Spanish, and Tagalog, and at the time, they didn't think that people who were bilingual or even trilingual um, were smart for some reason. That's like such a weird way of thinking. So they held my father back because his accent was so thick. He had a weird mixture of speaking like Tagalog, Spanish, and English at the same time, and it was like kind of mixed in, and his accent was so thick. So they held him back a year because they thought he wasn't smart. And that is, I'm glad we've evolved past that. um, yes, Riley says that I'm a dork. Thanks. um, Time Harvest says, Riley, lucky man. And John says, yeah, a book of anything that would be embarrassing while you were uh, trying to date people, starting to date people. Yes, dude. When I first started dating, my dad says I wasn't allowed to have my first boyfriend until I was 16. So literally, I waited till my 16th birthday when my friends came over. We had a whole party, and I invited the boy that I wanted to have as my boyfriend. He came over. My dad affectionately called him Joe Blow from Kokomo. My dad never really liked any of my boyfriends, so that's just how he was. He like, I don't know. But so he was like, you can't date till you're 16. And so my mom was like, yay, finally, I get to bust out all your naked baby pictures. She goes, I finally have a boyfriend to show them to. And I'm like, no, mama, why? Why? So she had it in my incriminating book right here, which I will show the entire interwebs. You're welcome. um, let's see. Shadowlands says, every so often I have dreams of future pets, more recent too. One, I had a pug and a black cat with white paws and a chest. Second was a jumping spider pet. Are these dreams possibly future pets coming for a visit? Wow. Okay. Well, you know what? I can pull a card for you real quick, and then we'll take a look into my baby book, and then afterwards, after we look at the pictures, we'll do all the rest of the super chats and super stickers. How about that? So Shadowlands, I'll get you, but then after that, we'll do super chats and super stickers with after our photos, our embarrassing photos. Well, just my embarrassing photos. Um, um, Time Harvest is wondering where I started finding out about my spiritual gifts. Pretty early age. I would say that they scared me at first because I didn't know like what was happening, what was going on. I would say like toddler. And then it wasn't till I was like in my 20s that I decided I wanted to know more, and I wanted to understand instead of just like run away from something I didn't understand. And that's when I realized, like, duh, like, duh. The more you understand, the less you're afraid of something, which is why I love doing this live chat. I love, for all of us to share our information, our knowledge, because the more we share, the more we understand, the less we're afraid of something, and we can be easily controlled by our fear. But if we have no fear, then there is no control. So that's where knowledge comes in. Okay, so Shadowlands, let's take a look. You said that you were having a couple of those dreams with the pug and the black cat, with the white paws and chest, and the second one with the jumping spider. So if they are future pets coming to visit. So let's first tap into that pug and the cat, the black cat with the white paws and chest. And the jumping spider. Okay, so I feel that, okay, I'm gonna pull you a card as well. I feel this is quite possibly, you might encounter these animals, but more like they had a message in your dreams. Okay, so when a pug, they're kind of like a light tan and then a dark tan. They're a mixture of two colors, right? And then you have your black and white cat that was also in the dream with the white paws and the white chest. And then we have spider. And so they were showing kind of what is coming forward for you when we think of spider, or at least I do, like in native tradition, I think of Spider Woman, who was supposed to be the creator of the universe and all things. She spun her web and she created everything in existence. So here we have the creatrix, we have the creator, somebody who is about to create something, i.e. you. And I know that you've been creating a lot of things lately. Love to see your stuff on your YouTube channel and your Instagrams. So you being actually the jumping spider. So you're creating, but now you're ready to leap into something even bigger with those creations. Either you're going to start selling those creations, or you're going to start, collabing with people with these creations, but something about these creations. And instead of looking at everything as black and white, like the cat, we can look at everything as starting to blend, and maybe even looking into shades of gray. Even though the pug isn't gray, usually we see those colors, the dark brown and the tan, start to meld together. So it feels like the answers moving forward, there's not going to be one answer. And I know that we already know that everything is a layer of answers. Everything is shades of gray more than black and white. And so they want you to keep that in mind as you leap forward like this jumping spider into the things that you're creating. That the way forward isn't always going to have one clear answer. And if you're waiting for clear answers to move forward, it's going to be very difficult. So kind of go in that middle ground, walk that middle path where it's like, you kind of have an answer, but you kind of have this answer, you kind of have this answer. Bring all those answers together, because that's the answer. It's not just one singular answer. It's a bunch of answers combined to help you move forward with the things that you are creating. Okay, so I also want to pull this card as well. Time Harvest says, I guess it was destiny then. I suppose so. It says, only spiritual gift I have is sleeping 15th a day. Nice, 15 hours a day. I mean, that means you probably do a lot in the astral and in your dream state. That's awesome. Okay. We have integration, death, and rebirth, or sorry, regeneration. So that's for Shadowlands. Yeah, that definitely goes along with what I was talking about, this like death and rebirth. This is looking at things differently. You're looking at things from a new perspective, a new set of eyes. You're in a new energy. The things that you're creating have shifted your energy in such a way that now you've put yourself on a new timeline where you could do some unique things with the things that you are creating, instead of just creating them for yourself. So this could lead to, like I said, collabs. It could lead to you creating them, opening up your own Etsy shop or something like that. But all of that is up to you. What you decide, what the muses are telling you, that's up to you. But if you're waiting for like the signal of like, I'm waiting for my sign to like go forward with this, the signs aren't going to be clear cut. They're not going to be that black and white. It's going to be the shades of pug, as you move forward. Pooh was asking if it was a weekly reading. We did have our weekly reading at the very beginning. There were just a couple of people that I was reading for. Before we take a look at this photo album. So thank you, Shadowland, so much. I hope that you found that helpful. Okay, well, ew, that's gross. Hope I didn't get any buggies on me. Okay, let's open up this photo album. I have a hair stuck to me. Okay, maybe I should put the camera down. Hmm. I wonder. Well, no, I could probably bring it up. All right, so here's a little picture. I don't know. This is probably like 82 or something, like 82, 83. But that's my Uncle Tom, and that's me. Let's see. My mom also kept stuff from like, like people had like my first birthday cards. She kept everything in this photo album. Okay, so let's go to the first page. These are kind of old. All right. Okay, first page. That was when right after I was born. So yeah, that's at the hospital. That's interesting. So I'm in my little incubator at the hospital. Look at all that hair. I know I was like 8 pounds and some change. I was like 19 inches, I think. Yeah. All right. So that's a little baby me. Let's see. What else do we have? Okay. We have hold on. I'm going to turn this so you guys can see it better. All right. So that's my dad with me for the very first time. This is also at the hospital. This is my mom immediately after like bringing me home from the hospital. Okay. Let's see. Let's find some better pictures. Oh, here we go. See, I'm telling you, my mom kept everything. That's like literally like her heartbeat, my heartbeat, like our little EKG, the like wrist bracelet that she had to wear, the oh, hold on. She kept all this like record of stuff. She says, born June 10th, 1981, Kaiser Hospital in San Diego, 8 pounds, 1 3/4 ounces, 19 3/4 inches long, head 13.5 inches. I got a big head. Chest 13 1/4 inches. And then like she talks about like what happened on the 25th and on the 29th and on July 8th, like just how big I'm getting. She says July 20th, 2 days before 6 weeks, she rolls over for the first time. At 5 months, she sits up. Yay! And I know that by the time I was a year old, I was walking already, and I was talking. Uh, I was a walking talker. Time harvests big brain gains. I know, right? Okay, so then she just like kept a bunch of like cards of everybody saying it's a girl. Okay, can't show that. That's my mom breastfeeding me. We don't really want to put that on the internet. All right. Let's see. Wow, a lot of breastfeeding going on. Do, 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 do. Dude, oh, hold on. Check me out in my like little car seat. I'm just like a little dude. This is like actually me coming home from the hospital. Like that, this is the day I came home. My mom says she gave birth and then they were like, okay, lady, you're done. So she says they like kicked her out of the hospital and just like handed her a baby. So that orange car that my mom's standing next to, she called that her pumpkin, and it is a Chevy Astray. And I think they only made them for a very brief amount of time because nobody knows what the heck an ashtray is anymore. Not an Astro, an Astray. And then that's my mom down there showing off that she no longer has a baby bump because I have been born. Let's see. Let's go forward here. All right. My dad loves to sing and he loves to dance. So there was pictures of like my dad singing to me And then my mom took that picture there of me with my cool sunglasses on. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here? Oh, here we go. So she took these pictures. She was showing that I'm only as big as my stuffed animals. And then that was my Uncle Danny, who's about 7 years older than me. Love my Uncle Danny. That would be my mom's little brother. Okay, let's see. My dad loved to give me a mohawk. He even did that when I was like in elementary school. He'd come in and put a bunch of soap in my hair and give me like a little mohawk on my head. Um, that's me, my little car seat. Let's see. What else do we have here? Wow. The stickiness is no longer sticking in this photo album, probably because it's so old now. Trying to find a good picture here. Do, do, do. Okay, naked baby. We're not putting that on the internet. Actually, I will pull up this picture. My mom found this shirt. She said she loved it because it said bubbles, because she used to call me Bubbles because I used to bubble up my spit. I would just blow bubbles all day. She's like, and I called you my happy baby. She says, you were Bubbles and you were my happy baby. She's like, no matter what, she says, you didn't really cry. She's like, you were always laughing, always smiling. She says, and that's something, she goes, everybody noticed. They were like, wow, your baby's so happy. Okay, here's a nice picture of me and my mom. And then this was my first birthday picture, and then that's my father and I. Okay, and then, oh, here we go. This is the picture I was looking for, y'all. Do you guys recognize the shirt in the picture? That's literally the shirt I'm wearing. Obviously, it was a little darker, but it's faded. It's washed over and over and over and over again. But yeah, those are my parents. That's me. Me wearing my mom's shirt. Like, let's see. Let's see. Do we have any other pictures in here of note? I think that's it. Wait, hold on. I'll show you guys one more from this album. Man, I was a chunker. But there I am, little chunky cheeks, also known as chipmunk cheeks. My parents had a lot of names for me. They call me Jabberjaws because I talk too much. Chunky cheeks, chipmunk cheeks, because I used to store food in my cheeks when I didn't want to eat everything that was on my plate. I would put it in my mouth and then try to go spit it out in the toilet. She called me Bubbles and she called me Happy Baby. So that's me. Okay, so that's my baby album. I thought that would be really fun just to like bust out for you guys. Hold on, let me put this here. All right, and then I have like this box. I'm not going to show you everything in this box. Obviously, we don't have that kind of time here on the interwebs. Let's see. Let's go back here. Oh, Shadowlands was saying, I'm thinking of starting to sell the wands. Also, I want to make walking sticks. Walking sticks is a good idea. I just picked up a walking stick yesterday. I think that is going to be freaking fabulous. I like that idea. And so Time Harvest is so cute. Bro looks Mexican. Well, actually, my dad is Mexican. He's half Filipino, half Mexican, so and native. So it's all mixed in. The Pima, the Mexican, the Filipino. That's my dad, and then my mom is Irish and German, and I believe my mom is, um, I think she's second generation, and then my dad is first generation American. So, um, let's see. Uh, Time Harvest says, you have big brains too, big head. Me too. I'm like, oh. um, Time Harvest says that me and my mom, wearing the shirt, that it fits both of us perfect. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right. Let's see. 1981. Pictures from 81. Okay. We have my mother, my father, my uncle Red, which was my grandmother, my mom's mother's brother. So that's my mom's uncle, and me. And it says this was June 28th of 1981. And this was at my grandparents' house. And she says, Tara is 18 days old. My mom always wrote stuff on the back. So thank you, Mom, for always helping me figure out what's going on in these pictures. Let's see if I can find any other baby. Dude, my mom's orange car. So crazy. I forgot what happens to that. I think my dad sold his Toyota pickup and my mom sold the Ashtray so they could buy an 86 Chevy Cavalier because they wanted a newer vehicle because my brother was about to be born. I was like, great. So I get to be in the death traps, but you buy a brand new car for my brother. Nice one. Okay. And then there's this little, like I told you, everything was rainbows with me. But that's a little picture with me with a toothbrush in my mouth because I had an obsession with brushing my teeth. It was like my pacifier, I guess. I would carry my toothbrush everywhere with me. It was like a little Superman toothbrush, and I would be like brushing my teeth, just chew on my toothbrush. Like I had this thing with my toothbrush, which is why I try to keep my teeth so white these days. I got a tooth obsession. Um, Here you go. This is, I believe, this is 1982 Christmas. Little whiny Tara. Nice. Okay, let's see if we have any other good stuff for you guys. Just another one in the car seat. Let's fast forward in some of these years. Let's go to let me see if anything's happening in 1984. Oh, look, I was a witchy back then. So this is 1983. See, I'm gonna ride off with my broom. Let's see, what else? Oh, there we go. Me and my toys. Time Harvest seemed afraid of Santa in that picture. I probably was. Angelical witch. Hey, maybe. Oh, and then I had these glasses. They were my pumpkin glasses that I rode around with. Always the fashionista, let me tell you. Okay. Oh, this is kind of hard to tell because it's so dark in the picture. It was dark in the apartment, but this is on Halloween. My mom sewed my Halloween costume. She was so proud of herself. She sewed me a bunny costume, but everybody who saw me was like, oh, what a cute little kitty cat. And my mom was getting so pissed. She's like, she's a rabbit. My daughter's a bunny. Let's see, what else do we have here? Me just sitting around the house. Okay. And then it was outside on the balcony of the apartment that we were in that apartment till about 1988. And then in 88, we moved to Chula Vista when my brother was about a year old. There's me. And then it looks like I must have busted my lip there. I told you I was a rough and tumble kid. So I had all kinds of scrapes and bumps and bruises. Time Harvest is cracking up over there. Nice one. And there's me and my dad. I got my little plastic lays on. And I think this is Easter, my little Easter outfit. Okay, so let's move forward in these years. Let's go to 1988. Okay, so this is 1988, so I would be 7 years old here. Yes, me and my fashion. Oh, here's me and my baby brother. Okay, my parents kept a mullet on my brother because my mom was so afraid to chop off his curls. They had no trouble cutting off my curls, but oh no, not my baby brother. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? That's just a goofy picture of my mother. Another one of me and my little baby bro, my brother Brian. Oh, hey, here's when I broke my arm on my skate scoot. It was a skateboard with handles on it. It was really dangerous. It's probably why I broke my arm. But anyway, that was me with my broken arm in 3rd grade. And so since it was, yeah, I had to learn how to write with my other arm. It was crazy. Yeah. So I broke my right wrist in 2 places, my radius. So had to learn to write left-handed. So I am sort of ambidextrous. Okay. Let's see if we have any last photos in here that I could show off. This is 1991. So I would be 10 and my brother 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He'd be 4. Yeah. So he was 4 and I was 10. And we are at a little like street fair that they used to have a lot in Chula Vista. So yay. I think that is the final picture for you guys. I think so. Unless I can find anything else that's cool with my, what the heck is happening there? It's just a lot of, my brother and I were always wrestling. So my mom would get us in these like pictures or, oh, okay, here's the last one. This is at Christmas time. So this is my cousin's half sister, me, my brother, and my cousin Christine in the pink jacket. And my cousin Christine now has, I believe her daughter is 16, and then she has twin boys who are also teenagers. That's so crazy. And Christine is the same age as my little brother. And so they both turned 38 this year. But yeah, okay. So there you go. So guys, some photos. Let's see. Let's go. Time Harvest says, bro wearing short shorts. What a man. Heck yeah, my brother. Oh, nice one. I like it. How did you screen capture those already? Let's see. Time Harvest says, crossing legs, already a lady. Oh, yes. I was such a lady. I was such a tomboy. But when I put on my dresses, I was like, ooh, I'm like little Miss Priss. But most of the time I was in tank top, shorts, and LA gears, you know. Shadowland says, need some help coming up with simple designs to carve into the wands. New to using a chisel. I would say if you're into runic designs, those are pretty easy because they're angular. So maybe some runic designs might be pretty cool. Or you can create your own like witch's rune designs, you know, something sigils that like resonate with you. That might be pretty cool. Maybe an angled cat, but that's just my for me. Shadowlands is planning one that has vines and another has a snake head. Ooh, that sounds cool. Time harvests shadow. Wish I had time to learn carving. I would make a lion. Super cool. Okay. So I want to think of a story to share with you guys. Let's talk about the year my brother was born. Okay, so my brother was born June 4th, 1987. And I was so excited. I mean, I remember when my mother told me that she was pregnant. And so I was like 6, well, 5 at the time that, she was pregnant. But I remember she told me, and I had such a trouble keeping secrets. Like, I don't know what it was in me, but like even when people were opening Christmas gifts or birthday gifts, I couldn't wait for them to open it. I'd be like, "It's a car! You got a Barbie doll!" Like, and then my mom would be like, she says, "Why can't you keep your mouth shut?" And I'm like, "I don't know." But anyway, so my mom, I remember we were in her bedroom, and she grabbed my hand and she put it on her belly, and then she says, "Tara, do you know what's about to happen?" I was like, "Did you eat something?" And my mom's like, "No." She says, "You're going to be a big sister." And I was like, crickets. She's like, "I have a baby inside of me." And I'm like, "But why?" Because that was my favorite question. But why? But anyway, she was whatever. She was like, "You can't tell your father. Wait for me to tell him." I'm like, "Okay." Like, So then I remember my dad comes home from work, and I'm like vibrating because I want to tell my dad so bad. And my mom's like, Terra Firma. Shh. She's all, "Don't tell your dad just yet." I'm like, "Okay." I'm just like vibrating. And then so then my mom is like getting ready to like go tell my dad what's going on. And so I remember, my dad worked for Mesa Distributing, and so he was a truck driver. He delivered MGD, and so he had his work shirt open. He was brushing his teeth when he got home. He was getting ready to take a shower, and so he's standing in the bathroom, and I remember he's brushing his teeth. And my mom comes in. She's like holding her stomach, and she's like, "Chris," she's all, "I have an announcement." And then I like couldn't take it anymore. I'm like, "Mama's gonna have a baby." And my mom's like, "Tara." And I'm like, "Ah." So I like ran off, and my dad's like, "What? The what now?" And like he's like dripping like toothpaste out of his mouth. He's like, the toothbrush is now hanging out of my dad's mouth. He's like, "The what? The what now?" My mom's like, "Chris, you're about to hear the pitter patter of little feet." He's like, "What are you talking about? I thought you weren't able to have any more babies." "What? What?" My mom's like, "It's a miracle." My dad's like, "What? What? You're gonna have a baby?" My mom's like, "It's a miracle, Chris." And I was like running around the house. I'm like, "Yay, mama's gonna have a baby. I'm gonna have a little sister. I want a little sister." And then my mom was like, kept telling me, she's like, "Now, honey, like we can't choose the gender of the baby. It could be a little boy, it could be a little girl." I'm like, "I don't want a brother. I want a sister. Make it a little sister." My mom's like, "I can't make it a little sister." I'm like, "I want a little sister." So then when we found out it was a boy, and my mom told me, I remember I was so disappointed. I was like, "But why though? But why? But why? I don't want a little brother. But why?" And so I was like, I think I was near the verge of tears. I was so sad. I didn't want a little brother. I wanted a little sister. And she was like, basically, you got to cut it out because you can't have a little sister. And I was like, I was so disappointed. So then, the day my brother was born, he was born at 5:07 p.m. So get this, my brother and I are both in the 6th month. We're 6 days, 6 years, and 6 minutes apart. Yes, we are the devil siblings. Anyway, um, so he's born at 5:07 p.m. So my mom went into contractions like early labor. I don't know, like somewhere around dinner time. But we all went to the hospital. I forgot who all was here. I knew that there were other people there, but all I remember is me and my dad, and I think there were other people. It might have been my grandparents. I don't really remember. But I do remember that I wore my pink and white striped dress. It was like this dress, but for some reason I called it my big sister dress, and I couldn't wait to wear it on the day my brother was born, because I was going to be a big sister, and I was super excited to be a big sister. So I wore my pink and white striped sister dress. And then I had this pin which I still have. It's in my storage somewhere, but it's got a little stork, and the stork is like, it looks like it's flipping a marble, and the marble blinks. And it's, so when you put the pin on and the metal makes contact with metal, it blinks. And so it's like this little blinking marble, and it says, "It's a boy." And so I had that on, I had my little dress on. And then I remember when he was placed in the window with all the other babies, and he was in his little plastic incubator thingy. And I remember looking at him, and I was like, but why does he look like a munchichi? And my dad had come back out, because I remember he was back in there for delivery, and then he came out later, and my dad was like, "Wow, he really does look like a little monkey." Because he had so much hair, he had these little ears that stuck out, and he was so like red. It was so weird. But I was like, he looks like a monchichi. And then my birthday obviously was 6 days later. Well, my parents didn't want me to feel as though all the attention was on the baby and that I was no longer going to get attention, because they didn't want sibling rivalry. So they wanted to feel like we were getting equal attention. So they decided that they were going to throw a really like sick birthday party for me. So my 6th birthday, I actually got to have a birthday party and everything with a piñata and all that stuff. They bought me a cute little like dress. And so my dad, wanting me to stay out of the bedroom where they were, I guess, apparently wrapping my gifts, told me to look out the window of the apartment. And he says, "Keep looking out the window, because there's a white truck that's going to show up, and it has all your presents in it." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, look out the window." So that's what I did. I was glued to the window, and I'm like, "No, Papa, I don't see it yet." "Oh, where is it, Papa?" And he's like, "Keep looking out the window." "But where, Papa?" And I'm just like looking out the window. And I could see that my dad is bringing in a huge like mountain of presents. Like, so all these presents are being put in the corner, and I kind of looked at him, but I'm like looking for this truck. And so then when my mom brought out my cake and everything, they're like, "Okay, honey," they're like, "time to open your presents." And I was like, and I like looked at the mountain of presents, and I looked out the window. I looked at the mountain of presents. I was like, "But Papa, where's the white truck?" He's like, "What are you talking about? Look at all these presents. You got a mountain of presents." I was like, "But where's the white truck? It's not coming." And my dad's like, "What are you talking about? There is no white truck. These are your presents." I'm like, I was like, "But I want the white truck." And so like I start crying, and my dad's like, "What is wrong with you, child?" You have all of these presents. And so I remember they went all out. They got me the Ghostbuster car. They got me all the Ghostbuster figurines. They got me Slimer. I got a stuffed like plushy Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I got all this Ghostbuster stuff. I think that's when I got my skate scoot that I later broke my arm with when I was in 3rd grade. So only 2 years later. I got so much stuff because my uncles also bought me things. My aunts bought me things. My grandparents like showered me in gifts. And then, yeah, so I had a pretty awesome birthday. I had a birthday with my classmates, from my elementary school. And that was with the piñata and everything. And I think it was She-Ra themed because I was super into She-Ra. And if you don't know who She-Ra is, that's the sister of He-Man. So I was like super into that. And then my brother was brought home from the hospital. Like he didn't come home right away. So I think he either came home a few days after. I'm not sure if it was like before my birthday or after my birthday. It was after. That's right. Because I don't remember him there for when I was like opening my gifts. So I think my brother came after my birthday. So like 7 days later, like a week later, he came home from the hospital. And I remember my mom was so excited. She wanted to get first pictures of sister and brother together. I wish I could have found that in the pictures for you guys. But I was sitting on the couch and and I remember I was wearing pink pants. That's all I remember. I had pink pants on. And my mom said, "Put your hands out." So I had my hands like on my lap. And my mom came over and my brother was all swaddled and she like put him in my lap. And he was just laying in my lap. I wasn't really holding him, but he was just laying in my lap. And I felt really awkward. I was like, what do I do with this thing? um, and then my mom, she went and got her digital camera. She's like, "Okay," or not her digital camera, her film camera. It was like her little Kodak or something. And she was like standing there. She's like, okay, smile. And I'm like smiling. And then at a certain point, I was like, Mama, I can, and like it started feeling really warm under my arm. And I realized that I think my brother is peeing or pooping. I wasn't quite sure, but I was like, ew, Mama, Brian's using the bathroom on me. I'm like, oh, so she got another picture of me like trying to smile. I'm like, ugh. He's using the bathroom on me. But anyway, I was so proud to have a little brother. After that, I was like, you know, I was his biggest defender. I liked putting him in his little Superman like onesie with the little cape that snapped on, and I would fly him around the house, which meant that he would usually throw up afterwards. But he loved it. He would laugh. I loved showing him off to everybody, and it was so interesting because my brother, remember, he had all these curls, and so they would dress him in blue and everything, but he had all these curls. I dressed like a tomboy. I had super short hair, so people would come up and they would say, oh, what a cute little girl, and you must be a very proud big brother. And I'm like, I'm a big sister, that's my little brother. So everybody confused me for being big brother and for him being my little sister. um Probably didn't help that I also dressed him in my Cabbage Patch clothes because I was still a little sore about not getting a little sister. So I thought that if I dressed him as a little sister, that was good enough because that's all I really wanted to do. I wanted to put my little sister in dresses and play Barbies with her. So I still played Barbies with my brother. I mean, he loved Barbies too, but yeah, my dad would be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm making him pretty." um, Let me see what else. Maybe I could share one more story with you guys before we do super chats and super stickers. Um, let's see. What birthday could I talk about? Oh, okay. I mentioned that 16th birthday before. You know where I said that's when like I got to have my very first boyfriend, Joe Blow from Kokomo. Okay, so my mom takes me out to buy a nice dress for my sweet 16. I wanted a quinceañera, but my mom was like, no, everybody else in the neighborhood has quinceañeras, so let's have a 16th birthday. And if you don't know what a quinceañera is, it's a like a 15-year-old birthday for like Mexican families. So I wanted a quinceañera. I didn't get one, but I got a 16th birthday. So I was getting very tall. I was already much taller than my mom. So the little kids section no longer fit me, like the juniors and stuff. So my mom took me to a prom store, like where they sell like evening gowns and stuff. And I was like a petite, like a small petite. So I wore petite women's. And so she gets me this like sparkly gray dress. It was like knee length and it was kind of floofy. And I thought it looked like a princess dress. So that's what I got. And then I invited like my closest friends, like Pancho, my friend Tone, who you guys hear me talking about a lot. He's been my buddy since like 7th grade. My friend Wen was there. And I think my friend Joe, there was another guy named Joe Comage. I think he was at my birthday too. I think, oh, and then my friend Sarah. Yeah, my friend Sarah was there. So anyway, I'm super excited because the guy that I want to go out with is going to be coming to my birthday. And I remember I'm in the house. My cousin Selena and my auntie Caroline are there, and they're making a whole like feast for me. They're making lumpia, they're making pancit, they're making sotohon, like all of my Filipino favorite foods. Like, it smelled so good, like what was coming out of the kitchen. Like they're making everything from scratch. I'm so excited. My mom went down to El Tigre, which is like a little Mexican market where I grew up, and she got me a tres leches cake, which is like a super creamy. It's called Three Milks, like tres leches cake. And it was a big, beautiful 3-layered cake. It was gorgeous. So I was going to have all my favorite food, my cake. But what does my mom do the earlier on that morning? She says, I have a surprise for you. She says, you're going to get braces. And I'm like, but why though? But why? And she's like, because honey, your teeth are all jacked up. And I was like, it looks like somebody took some teeth and threw them in your mouth. And I was like, but I like my teeth. Okay, they were a little goofy looking, but I liked my teeth. So she took me to the orthodontist, and they couldn't put braces on me that day, but they could put my spacers in. And so spacers are like, it's like a plastic thing or whatever that they put behind your two back teeth, like your first and your second molar, to make room for the brackets that need to get stuck back there for when they do put your braces on. That's like how they tighten your braces. So anyway, so they needed to space my teeth apart. I thought nothing at first when they put them in, but after a while, my mouth really started to hurt because literally my teeth are being split, apart in the top and bottom. And so by the time my birthday is like, really starting to get ready, my friends are coming in, the food smells good, the tres leches cake is there. My mouth hurts so bad that I went to bite into a lumpia and I started crying. I was like, oh, like I couldn't eat any of it. It was the saddest thing. All that wonderful, delicious Filipino food, and I couldn't eat any of it. Like my mouth hurt so bad. So all I could eat was my tres leches cake because it was a really soft cake, and I would mush it with my tongue on like the roof of my mouth. And I was so tired of eating cake. All I wanted to eat was lumpia and pancit, and I couldn't have any. um, and so then Joe showed up, Joe Blow from Kokomo. He drove, what was it? It was like an 89 Rabbit. If you guys know what that is, it was like a little hatchback car. So he drove a Rabbit, and it was funny because it's a little tiny car. And Joe Blow from Kokomo was 6'10". He was like this big white boy from Bonita High School. He was a football player. And so you got this like guy like crammed up in like this like little tiny car. And so I remember I saw that he had showed up in the driveway, and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, Joe is here. Joe is here. And so my girlfriends like take me into the bathroom, and they're like, it's okay, Tara. You look beautiful. You look beautiful. I was like, what should I do? What should I do? And my friend Gwen's like, let's curl your hair. So they decide they're like, one friend is trying to put makeup on me to make me look like really pretty. Another one is like whatever, curling my hair. There you go. Oh my gosh. That's like Joe's Rabbit. His was, it was brown. He had a brown rabbit. Yeah, so my friend Gwen, she like burned her fingers trying to like curl my hair. I remember we put flowers in my hair. She tried to curl my bangs, and we ended up burning my forehead with the curling iron. And then I tried to like cover my burn mark because we were frantic because we're like, boy in the house, there's a boy in the house. And I remember my friends, Joe Comage and my friend Tone, they came by. Was my friend William there? He might have been there, and Poncho. Anyway, so they're coming by, and they're like, what is going on? What are you girls like yapping about? We're like, Joe is here. Joe is here. There's a boy in the house. They're like, newsflash, we're boys. We're dudes. We're like, yeah, but you guys don't count. Like, you're not like real boys. They're like, insulting. So anyway, so my friend Gwen burned me with the curling iron. She burned her hands with the curling iron. One of my friends was trying to put on my makeup, but she put it on really heavy. So I look like a nyeka. I look like a doll or a clown or something. So I had like these like rosy, like red cheeks, and I had bright red lipstick on, and somebody put blue eyeshadow on me, and my mom walked by the bathroom and she went, Holy Mary, Mother of God. No, honey, you're not going out like that. And I was like, but mama, my friends are making me look pretty. She's like, you look like a harlot. You're not going out. So my mom had to wipe off my whole face, and she was like, if you want makeup, I'll put your makeup on. But she was like, just a little bit, because you're only 16. And I was like, okay. So she put a little bit of mascara on. I think she gave me like some pink lipstick. And then my mom's like, here's a little trick that your grandmother taught me. She's like, pinch your cheeks. That's the only blush you need. She's like, pinch your cheeks, and you need a little Vaseline on the lips, a little Vaseline on the eyelashes. You're golden. So, but she did put like mascara on, and then she pinched my cheeks. She put like pink lipstick on. And then we went out there, and I remember I was sweating profusely. And so like Joe was there, and I was like, hi, Joe. Hi. And I was like, guess what? Guess what? I'm just like, guess what? And he was like, what? He's like, oh, I brought you a present. I'm like, guess what? And I'm like sweating. I'm like, so, yeah, do you want to, are you like my boyfriend now? And he's like, wait, I was I'm allowed to be your boyfriend right now, right? Because you turned 16 today. I was like, yeah. And he's like, okay, whew. And I was like, yes, I got a boyfriend. And so I like went up to my friend Tony. I was like, guess what? I got a boyfriend. I go up to my friend Gwen. I was like, guess what? Your friend's got a boyfriend. So yeah. So anyway, I thought you guys might enjoy those dorky stories. But yeah, it was a really fun birthday party. Despite my mouth hurting, and my mom ended up running to the grocery store to buy me baby food so that I could eat baby food and Vienna sausages on my birthday instead of all the delicious Filipino food, which all my friends were like, oh my gosh, Tara, you need to try these lumpias. They're delicioso. And I'm like, great, thanks. At least my friends enjoyed the food. My mom had gotten a DJ, so we were like dancing to music in my backyard. I remember my friend, she rented all these like tables and chairs, and she had put tiki torches all around the area where we were hanging out. And my friend Pancho, Francisco, he decided to be funny. So he jumped up on one of the tables and he pretended like he was like a stripper. And he was like, hey, Tara, he's like, I'm putting on a dance for you. And I was like, and so me and my friends were like, we had like quarters or something. We're like tossing quarters. We're like, yeah, Pancho, take it off. My mom came out. She's like, what the heck are you children doing? She was like, what? Put your clothes back on. He's like, oh, it's okay. I have shorts underneath my jeans. She's like, I don't care. Pull your pants back up. And he's like, all right. My mom was like, what are your friends doing? Okay, this is not that kind of party. And I was like, dude, my mom is such a buzzkill. Like, but anyway, so it was my 16th birthday. But so anyway, like I said, I don't know what is going to happen on my birthday this year, but I'll definitely take some pictures or video or whatever. I am looking forward to it. I've ordered the cake that I want. I wanted a unicorn cake. I don't really know how that's going to turn out, but I went to Persnickety's Bakery. It's there's like a place here in Arizona called Persnickety's, and then they have this like little bakery that's across town, and they have so many delicious like sweet confections in there. So they also make cakes, a little custom cakes. So I decided to get a double layer strawberry cake with chocolate ganache in the middle with buttercream frosting, and I want it to look like a unicorn. So I don't know what their interpretation is going to look like. I just thought of something, but anyway, so I'll take pictures of it though. And yeah, I hope it's delicious. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. That was some story time, some stuff that happened in 1981. I'm super excited for my solar return. Thank you for the people who got the readings earlier. But if you would like to do super chats and super stickers now, we could do that now. But if not, we'll just go into our channel guided meditation. I'll make it solar returny, a solar return, guided meditation. I think that might be a lot of fun. Okay, so let me have some Wawa. Excuse me. Wow. I don't know. Maybe I should share like an embarrassing story every live chat. I literally have 44 years of embarrassing stories for you guys. You're welcome. You're welcome, internet. I'm just an embarrassing person. Shadowland says, my first walking stick is going into the double-headed snake. Oh, gonna be the double-headed snake. Ooh. Very cool. I dig that. When I think of like the double-headed snake, I think of the staff of the caduceus, and I think is it the single one, the single caduceus? I believe that belonged to Mercury, where it's like the singular snake wrapped around the staff. But I think the two snakes wrapped around the staff that most people like associate with like hospitals and stuff, that is the caduceus that belonged to Asclepius, which I believe Asclepius was Mercury's son. So I think that's really cool because the caduceus, or the two-headed snake, or the double snake, is connected to healing, death and rebirth, longevity, and all of that healing. So that's really cool. I think that's a pretty cool idea. All right, Duality Tale says, just a general message, please. You got it, girlfriend. Let me grab my through the eyes of the soul. Okay, so let's do a little tap in for duality tales. See if we get any songs playing for you. I hope they're 80s songs. Okay, let me see. Okay, so the song that popped up in my head, at first I keep seeing like all these birds taking flight, and then I hear shout, shout, let it all out. These are the things I could do without. Come on, I'm talking to you. Come on. Do 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 do. Da, 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 da. So you wanna shout, shout, let it all out. Okay, well, let's see what that actually is all about. Duality Tales is cracking up over there. Okay, all right. So we have be courageous, truth conquers all. Well, that song definitely goes with that shout, shout, let it all out. Truth, throat chakra. Oh, that's probably why I was seeing the vision of the birds as well, because birds are, connected with communication, the voice, and then them ascending, up into the air, they're flying. So let me tap into this for you. Okay, so your higher self is saying, um, obviously you know about speaking your truth, you know about working on your energy centers, you know about trying to be your most authentic self. So this isn't any like new news for you. You know this stuff, but um, your higher self is just trying to give you a nudge that there are sometimes that you hold back a little bit of like your woo-ness. Sometimes like you might see something or just know something, feel something, but you hold back because you're afraid of like offending the other person, or what might the other person might get weirded out, or they might not understand. So you sometimes don't say certain things. You might mention it to a friend that, hey, I had this feeling, but maybe not perhaps to the person that you really felt it was like directed towards. And so it's just a little bit of holding back, which is, hey, okay, everybody, we speak our truth in our own timing, right? But your higher self is just letting you know that you are getting ready for like another chapter in your life. We have like a bazillion chapters in our lives, but you're getting ready for a new one, a next one. And in that chapter, you have to change your shift your vibration, your frequency just a little bit. And how we do that is basically how we speak of ourselves, how we speak in our mind, and the actions that we take. So if your action at the moment is, I'm kind of my authentic self, like, it depends on the situation and the person that I'm around, that if I'm, around people that I feel like might be uncomfortable with it, then I just, I tone it down a bit. If I'm around super woo woo people, then yeah, I just let it all hang out. But it's that in itself is a particular type of energy, and so your reality is reflected in that particular energy, where like sometimes I can let it all hang out and let my freak flag fly. That's a nice tongue twister. Or there are times where I'm a little bit more reserved about who I speak to and what I say, because I just, I don't want to make people uncomfortable, and maybe I don't want to get into an argument, or I don't want to get into a debate or anything like that. But your higher self is saying the more you let it all hang out, doesn't matter who you're hanging out with, that in itself also shifts your reality. So those people who maybe originally you think are going to be very uncomfortable, you might notice that in this new reality, those people are actually in alignment with what you're saying. So although maybe they don't believe exactly what you believe, they'd be open to listening to what you have to say. So and that opens a whole like can of worms for like new opportunities for you, and where you could go, and like the people that you get to meet, and then even that will just expand your consciousness exponentially. So just a little reminder, again, not to like push you into you have to do this right now, but just a reminder that the more you do speak more, it doesn't matter who your audience is, the more you're just you, the more your full reality is going to change, because you might find it's really difficult for certain things right now to manifest certain things or to bring certain things to fruition. And that's because you're not quite at that vibration yet. But when you do, of course, those things will be available to you plus some. So yeah, I hope this makes sense. Okay, hold on. I think the computer died. Um, I don't think the plug is actually on. Oh no, the computer is dead. All right, well, okay, let's see if I can scroll on the phone. Oh, I can't. Shoot. Oh, I can't see what you guys are saying. Well, hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Alrighty. I think we had another super chat. Duality Tales says, "Thank you so much. I needed to hear this." So you're very, very welcome. Okay, so let me have a little bit of water. I was wondering why it kept shutting off before. Okay. Let me scroll through here. Okie dokie. Sorry, just waiting for my little computer to reboot. But yeah, I think that's a good message for all of us, though. Not just Duality Tales. Even for me. I think that I I hold back a little bit sometimes. My whole weirdness that I am, which I don't mind my weirdness. It's just sometimes I feel into the energy of a room. I feel around certain people, and I just wonder like, well, maybe if I say this, it might just like be too much for them or whatever. But I have noticed that the more I'm just me, just myself, even around people that I think wouldn't be too open to that they I end up being pleasantly surprised, and then I'm like, well, why don't I just like speak up more? So I have been doing that more. I've been trying to be more conscious of that. Okay. Oh, hey, our buddy John says, I know we've got a lunar return every month, but the full moon in Sagittarius is going to be less than half a degree from where it was at my birth time. So just an energy check with the moon. All right. So John is a Sagittarius moon. Hey. um, okay. Let's see. Then Shadowland says, was there a song that came through in my reading? Shadowlands, I was more connecting to the energy of the animals. I didn't really hear a song at that time, but I just felt the animals and the jumping spider more fully in that one. Duality Taylor said, wow, so accurate. And Time Harvest says, the PC decided to take a nap. Bro's tired. I know, the computer's like, okay, so Sagittarius full moon for our buddy John. Let's tap in. So it's less than half a degree from where it was at your birth time. That's freaking awesome. So let's do a little check-in. Our buddy John, Sagittarius full moon coming up, coming in hot. All right. Let's see if we get movies, music, TV shows. Okay. There were two songs coming at once, but then one song overtook the other song. Again, it was Culture Club. Um, I don't know why they pop in so often. But anyways, do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? Do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? Do, 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 do. Dude, I wish YouTube wasn't such a butthole about music. Not like I'm trying to like monetize somebody's music, but I wish we could play music on here so that what's in my head could actually play, and you don't have to listen to my bad karaoke. But anyway, I was hearing from Culture Club, like, do you really want to hurt me? Um, let's see what that means though for the Sagittarius full moon. Oh, I'm already getting a hit about it. Okay, but let me look at the card. Become the master you seek. I love that. Okay, John. um, it's like a yay, but maybe not so yay for the ego. So around this time, and you might already start to feel this now that we're getting closer to the full moon, um, but you have a big ego death coming. I mean, I know you've probably been like feeling a bunch of like ego deaths, and some people feel like, oh, like all I need is my one ego death and then peace out, yo, I'm good. I'm all like super, into my higher self. But this is another ego death that's coming for you. The intensity that you feel it, that's kind of just where you are at that point in time, as it comes up. But that's who I feel is doing the singing, that it's the ego saying, do you really want to hurt me? Do you really want to make me cry? Because there's these things that you already know, but now you're truly integrating them like into your body, into your light body. So it's this understanding about who you are, in the world, understanding that there is a split between the person who was born and named John and the family that you grew up in, your blood heritage, all of that, yes, creates the vessel that you inhabit at this moment. And that vessel is very real. That vessel has feelings. That vessel, has a mind of its own. But then there's also the light you, which is like infinite. And, and these are things I know that you already understand, but it's like a huge integration of that. It's like a letting go of the tightly held beliefs, like this is just who I am. This is my personality. I tightly hold on to my vessel's blood heritage. I tightly hold on to like my name. I hold on to, all these things. And even though maybe we try to see it consciously from a elevated perspective, the ego still has a hold of those things. And so I feel around the Sagittarius full moon that there's going to be kind of a letting go of some of that identity, those things that you identify yourself with in this vessel, and embracing more of who you are as a soul, while understanding that, yes, the vessel that I have definitely has a heritage. It has a name, it has feelings, it has all this. Yes, but that's not who I am entirely. And that really starts to integrate for you around the full moon. And so, yes, you are going to have a bit of an ego death. And I feel that the ego will not go quietly into that good night. So it will not go softly. I would say take a lot of time for yourself, self-care, be gentle with yourself. If you want to spend some time alone, that's probably going to be pretty good for you. Just so you can allow yourself to feel what you need to feel, journal what you need to journal. If you want to go scream into a pillow, go scream into a pillow. If you want to go beat your chest in the forest, I don't know, whatever makes you feel like you need to get it out, and fully integrate. You do you, but I feel like that's what's coming up for you. You have an ego death coming up, which, like I said, for the soul is like, yay, bro. For the ego, it's like, what are you doing? Do you really want to hurt me? Why would you do that to me? um, John says your singing is like little birdies. Aw, thank you. um, so yeah, I hope that helps. Just give you a little heads up about that. Like I said, the intensity at which you feel that is just where you are at that point in time. So maybe, the timeline that I see right now, it's kind of like uncomfortable, might feel angry, might feel sad, kind of all at the same time, kind of a mixture of emotions. But maybe since you already have a heads up, you probably have already changed your timeline to where it's like, okay, I get this. I know what this feeling is. This is just a little ego death. And maybe, it could just like go smooth sailing, but just a little heads up. All right. Shadowland says, is there an ego death in the works for me, or am I going through one currently? Okay, so Shadowlands, let's do a little tap into your energy. Let's see if we get any music for you. Okay, Shadowlands, City Cindy Lauper playing in my mind. Girls just wanna have fun. Oh, girls just wanna have all they really want to have fun. What in the world could this? Oh, girls just wanna have fun. Anyway, so yeah, I'm hearing yeah, girls just want to have fun. GIRLS, girls. Oh my gosh, I haven't heard that song in forever. Um, and you know what other thing just popped into my mind? Another movie I loved was Goonies. Probably because Cyndi Lauper is singing in one of the Goonies songs. But anyway, oh no, that actually goes with your reading. The girls just want to have fun, and Goonies, which, if you guys remember the Goonies, which was also one of my very, 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 very favorite movies, I forgot to mention it earlier. Um, they're like going on an adventure. So I don't feel that this is like an ego death right now, although I feel like you may have maybe recently gone through one, and maybe it wasn't so intense, but it was an ego death. Our intensity, they don't always have to be like, oh my gosh, tower moment. It's, it changes depending on where we are at that moment in time. So I feel like you kind of already went through some really heavy stuff, and now is the time for like creation. Girls just want to have fun. Now is the time to explore, to adventure, like the Goonies. Like, what happens when I make this? Or, ooh, you're talking about, carving these symbols into like staffs and wands. Like, this is a time to just like really allow yourself to just be in the moment. No need to plan ahead and be like, it needs to look like this, but just allowing your soul to take over and just create these things, and then not having any expectation that this is going to make me like tons of money on Etsy, or like this is going to like bring in super awesome collaborations, but just like it brings me joy in this moment, and that's why I do it in this moment. So I feel like in doing that, that's what aids to the reading that we had earlier with the jumping spider and the dog and the cat. Is more of these opportunities are being open for you. And again, that's like the Goonies. I guess at first they think it's all about the treasure, right? It's all about finding One-Eyed Willie's treasure. But what it really was just having fun, learning to trust one another, learning to build their confidence. It was the treasure was the adventure. It wasn't necessarily the golden jewels that they found at the very end. They made their sloth was their friend that they made. Everybody loves sloth and chunk and mouth and Mikey, uh, all the other characters in the movie. So I feel like that's what's coming up for you too, is that you're on this adventure. Have fun, be in the moment. Girls just want to have fun. And then the opportunities come later, but no need to place any expectation on those opportunities just yet. John says, thank you. You are very welcome, my friend. So Shadowlands, I got embrace the three worlds. Well, and that's as above, so below. What's in the middle? Us. So those are the three worlds: above us, right here, and down below. And as we find ourselves just in the present moment, enjoying what we love here in the present, we start to connect ourselves to all of these aspects of ourselves, as above, so below. we truly connect to, our higher self, our extraterrestrial version of ourself, our version of ourself from the past, our version of ourself in the future, all aspects of us combining as one in that present moment, all working synergistically, creating some beautiful opportunities in front of you. So I hope that makes sense. Thank you, Shadowlands. Okay. Okie dokie. All right. Well, if there aren't any more super chats and super stickers, which I thank you guys so much for getting a reading with me today. That's been a lot of fun. And I thank you guys for sitting with me and looking at some dorky pictures and hearing some dorky stories and seeing me dressed all like weird or whatever. But actually, I don't mind this outfit. I think I'll just wear it out today. I'll just be 80s today. That's fine. But yeah, I thank you guys and thank you for all the birthday wishes. And my friend Susie sent me, like I said, a nice little package in the mail, and that's the deck, that she sent me. And I appreciate her. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate my moderators, all my chat folks, friends. My patrons, my YouTube members, all my friends that I grew up with, and my boyfriend and everybody, my family. Wow. I'm so grateful for my life, and I was mentioning this to my boyfriend yesterday that all the things that I thought at the time were just like really difficult, and I wish I didn't have to go through this, and some of the stuff in my teaching gigs were like really hard for me, and it was like, but all of those now in hindsight help me to grow into the person that I am now. And I know that I am by no means finished growing. I know that, I'm going to be on this planet a really long time. And so I have many more opportunities for growth that lay ahead of me. But, in looking back and realizing that the times that were very difficult helps to give perspective for the times in the future that will be difficult. And even though maybe they won't feel any less difficult, at least I'll have that perspective that, hey, I'm learning something really good right now, and the person that I'm going to be on the other side of this is going to be way more badass. And so that's something to look forward to, even if the situation right now is hard. So I am grateful for that. Like I said, I'm grateful for all of you guys and everybody who's been in my sphere. I've had people come into my life and leave my life. There are people that have been in my life for like ever. And yeah, I it's like sometimes I think, really, have I only been on this planet 44 years, like in this lifetime? Because I feel like I've lived 100 lifetimes. I felt like I've had so many deaths and rebirths, so many phoenix rising from the ashes, so many incarnations of myself in one lifetime. Like I've been so many different things. I've experienced so many different things. I've hung around so many different types of people. I've been through so many different types of like beliefs and learning. And yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with number 44. 44th trip. Here we go. 365 days. um, Shadowland says, thanks. It does. You are very welcome. Hey, Jay's in the house. What's up? All right. So let's do a channel guided meditation, solar return style. Let's do it. And this is actually a meditation of sorts that I posted for my Patreon group, but I'm going to tweak it a little bit for you guys here in this live chat. So I am going to get out of the way so that you don't have to stare at me during the meditation. And I'm going to come over here and bring you guys the forest. Okay. Maybe like that. Hold on. Let me adjust this. Okay. Yeah, there you go. All right, beautiful. All right, you guys, here we are. We've come to our channeled guided meditation, solar return style. You don't necessarily have to have your solar return right now to take advantage of this meditation. That's just the theme that I'm giving it. All right, so go ahead and find yourself a nice, comfortable space, a place where you'll be undisturbed for the next several minutes. You could be laying down, laying under a tree, sitting in your favorite chair, any place that's comfortable for you. And as you start to slow your breathing, bringing your awareness to your breath, feeling that rise and fall of your chest, feeling your jaw muscles begin to relax as you settle in, feeling the shoulders move away from the ears, just feeling your arms becoming heavy and limp at your sides, feeling that gentle breath in and out, feeling your hips start to relax, relieving all that pressure in your back and your legs, feeling your calf muscles beginning to relax and your feet maybe falling off to the side as you just focus on the here and now and your breath. And as you breathe, I want you to envision a beautiful mirror in front of you. You can make it as simple or as ornate as you wish. Or perhaps the reflection is one that you see in a body of water. But imagine something in which you can see your reflection, whether it be water or a gorgeous mirror. And this mirror is a magical mirror. It's going to show you some of the most beautiful moments in your life, some of the moments that we thought we had forgotten, but the moments that we are grateful for nonetheless. And in this earthly incarnation, think about how many Earth years old you are today. And we're going to count from that number down to 0. So some of you may need more time with this meditation. You could skip numbers if you wish. This is your meditation. You make it yours. For example, in 2 days, I will be 44 Earth years old. And so when I peer into the mirror, I look at something that maybe I had forgotten that will surround that year 44. And I will continue moving downwards. 43, a significant event that brought me joy, that lifted me up, that made me so happy. And we continue at 42, 41, 40, so on and so forth. Allow yourself time to be clear on what it is you see or feel in the mirror. Perhaps it is not so much a vision, but something that is felt inside. Perhaps the memory comes through with a certain scent in the air, or maybe it's a particular song that reminds you of that year. What happened when you were 39, when you were 35? What happened on your 30th birthday? What beautiful things happened during that solar return? Perhaps it was children being born. Perhaps you tried something that scared you and you realized that you love it. Maybe it was a gift. Maybe it was your first kiss. 25. And allow yourself to be filled with these beautiful events, all these events that we are grateful for, that filled us with so much love, so much safety, so much joy. 21, 19, continuing to feel it. And if you feel yourself begin to smile, or perhaps tears of joy, allow yourself to feel all these things. Allow yourself to integrate, reintegrate these memories that are never truly lost. They're inside of you forever, lasting longer than any photo album or any videotape, outlasting our computers. Your memories are forever. Age 15, age 13, 12, age 10. And again, you can go back and slow this down as you wish, lingering for at any age for as long as you wish. 7, age 5, 3, 2 Earth years old, your first solar return, and the moment just before your birth. Take time now to breathe into these events, these flashes, these feelings, these things that you sensed, and allow yourself to be wrapped in them, loved by them, filled up by them. Feel free to journal about this after your meditation. But for now, we're just feeling into it. We're allowing ourselves to revel in these beautiful memories, perhaps ones that we thought we had forgotten. When you are ready, thank the reflection, the mirror, the pool of water, and bring your awareness back into your body, wiggling your fingers and toes. And taking a nice deep breath in, and perhaps having yourself a little stretch. Yay! All right. Okay. All right, you guys. Woo, here we are. I hope you guys enjoyed today's live chat. I hope that you had fun with goofy stories, pictures, and I thank everybody who got a reading from me today and everybody who enjoyed the card polls and the weekly reading and enjoyed my goofy outfit. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm wishing you all a wonderful, wonderful week. And I am looking forward to my solar return. And I hope that I continue to look forward to my solar returns, even when I'm 120 years old. So, anyway, thank you guys. Let's see. Time Harvest said 44, and Duality Tales says, I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Thank you. John says, happy 44s. I'm sure it's going to be a great one. Riley says, my meditation was pretty short because I'm only like 9.9 428674143 dog years old. Yes, nice. John saying much love to all. Time Harvest says the meditation made me realize how fast everything was and how all the bad and the good moments are irrelevant. The now matters more than ever. Wonderful week for you too, Tara. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that. Duality Tales says, thank you so much, Tara. Always enjoyable. And John says, are our donation readings over yet? No, I will keep my donation readings up until June 15th. So if you guys are wondering about that, I posted on my, actually I posted on the YouTube channel as well as to my Instagram that I'm doing pay what you can readings. So it's not my normal readings that I have on my website. They're just donation-based readings, and it's through Venmo and Cash App. I could do Zelle if people wanted to do Zelle as well. I'm not doing PayPal so much anymore just because their policies drive me insane. But yeah, it's just donation-based readings. And then you just send me your question with your donation, and then I will type up in an email the answer to that question based on the card that I pull. I will take a picture of the card or cards that I pull for your reading. And that will continue until June 15th. So basically, let's see, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So yeah, the Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, not today, but next Sunday. So yeah, you guys have one more week for that. So if you are interested in donation readings, pay what you can readings, that is up till then. So thank you everyone. And I hope you have a beautiful week. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye guys.